What do these self-excluders look like? Well, and this bears out some of the prevalence research that's been done internationally, they're mostly younger males. People who take risks. They're taking too many risks as far as we're concerned. Most of them are under the age of 34. They are gambling a lot. They're gambling every day. It's worth pointing out here that that the study included a control group, so we were able to measure exactly a comparison group of people who didn't self-exclude to see how they compared. So compared to the non-self-excluders, the excluders were gambling more and they were having high levels of transactions. They were betting more money. They were chasing their losses a bit as well. They weren't winning on our website or any other website, I don't think, but they were losing a lot. They'd also, interestingly, said that they were excluding themselves from other gambling websites. They'd already done so. So they're almost serial offenders, serial excluders who keep on excluding from websites. In your handout, I put a figure of 11% down for that. I made a mistake. That was the control group. The excluders, it's over half of them are excluding elsewhere. So all the more reason why we need national and, if possible, international databases for gamblers who are self-excluding. That's the only way we can reasonably protect them. The last bullet point in blue there, which doesn't stand out very well, tells us that 90% of this small group who self-exclude are either problem gamblers or they're at risk of becoming problem gamblers. They were measured on one of the main screens for determining whether you are a problem gambler or not, the PGSI. 60-odd% of them scored for problem gambling, 30-odd% scored for being at risk. This is a worrying figure. We have the first confirmation ever in international research that this really is a vulnerable group and that self-excluding behavior is a proxy for problem gambling. It's the first time this has been revealed. What are we going to do about it? Well, we're in the early days of discussing this. There are some big implications. We've got on our website, we've got a range of information to help people understand how they can gamble responsibly. We're busy making that much more interactive and user-friendly. So that there's a new microsite, information microsite will go live in the next few weeks. We want to use messaging to target the people we know who are in the sort of demographic range of people who are likely to self-exclude. We will be narrowing down this profile in order to send out messages to these people to help them understand how they can protect themselves more adequately. I think there are some big considerations for policymakers in all of this. Now we know that self-exclusion is a proxy for problem gambling. Some other studies in the United States were a bit unsure about this, but this really points us in a very useful direction. Self-exclusion is critical to protect players. We have to have it. It has to be mandated. We need it there. But importantly, the other tools, the ability to limit the amount of money you play with, the amount of money you put into an account, those tools have to be there as well. Because the overwhelming majority of people who self-excluded actually used these tools before they self-excluded. So they use the limiting tools, and then they get to the point where that doesn't work for them anymore, and then they exclude themselves from the websites. So policymakers, regulators, I urge you to ensure that companies are required to put these provisions in place to protect people. Illegal operators are not going to do this. We need regulated markets where we can have confidence that the operators who are able to offer products are going to do so in a way that is mindful of the needs of consumers, and particularly look out for the interests of this small group of people who cannot gamble in a responsible manner and look after themselves. And the last point there, you should be able to exclude from any gambling website by one email, one single email to the operator, or one single phone call within your country, within your jurisdiction, and ideally across European borders as well. Thank you very much indeed.